Okay, let me explain. Uh, let me explain. Let me explain. Okay, let me explain. So, Ronaldinho is the man. You guys, if you're soccer fans, you know about the fierce rivalry between Barcelona and Real Madrid, right? Yep, you know about the rivalry. Ronaldinho is the man that played so well that he at the Bernabeu, at the home of the rivals, that he got a standing ovation from his rivals. Right now, that generally doesn't happen. But what I want to say is this: Ronaldinho also loved to party. He loved to party, and he didn't look after his body as well as he could have. So that's just one example that I just want to draw us to. Yes, he'll always be remembered in history, but generally, when we're talking about who's the best players ever, who do we think of? Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, right? I believe that if Ronaldinho had some of the discipline that Messi and Cristiano did, he would be in that conversation and perhaps even more. Same thing for Brazilian Ronaldo as well. Phenomenal. You guys know about him? Name the same thing. But what I'm trying to say is that what sets these two apart is their discipline, right? Their discipline. Their discipline, not just on the sporting field, but their discipline in life as well. So that could make the difference between you reaching your potential and also with longevity as well. So the last thing I want to say is that, so firstly, we all have potential. We're born with potential and purpose. Secondly, it's character. It's your character. That's what's going to unlock your potential and your purpose. And thirdly and lastly, is that it's that same character that's then going to give you longevity. Does that make sense? All right? So your talent maybe might help you to get somewhere, but it's your character that's going to keep you there. Yeah? It's your character that's going to keep you there. Life is a marathon. Have you guys heard that? It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So same thing. You can be really... a marathon's not about being really fast. It's about being dedicated. It's about one step at a time. Just like the tortoise. You keep going. You keep persevering one step at a time. Your talent might get you there, but it's going to be your character that's ultimately going to keep you there. And in life, you're going to also have to get used to a few knocks as well. Yeah? Once again, those of us who have lived a little bit longer, have you had to deal with some knocks in your life? Yep, some challenges in your life. Some that maybe you didn't see coming. Some that maybe you didn't deserve. Yep, that is life. That's going to happen to every single one of us. And you're going to have to get used to this. But when those knocks happen in your life, can you say of yourself that you have the character of someone who's faithful? Someone who keeps showing up? Someone who's disciplined? Someone who's consistent? Someone who's hopeful? Someone who doesn't give up quickly? Someone who perseveres? Someone who gets up? Someone who goes again and continues? You're going to need these character traits in order to not only reach your potential, but to continue in it and to have longevity. All of us have a purpose. Every single one of us. Every single one of us. You're loaded with purpose. But whether you're going to meet that purpose and that potential is based on your character. And the good thing about it is that you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait till tomorrow to start working on your character. You don't have to wait until you have the perfect job. You don't have to wait for the perfect opportunity. You can start working on your character now. Once again, can you say of yourself, or can the people who are close to you, can they say of you that you are someone who is loving, someone who's joyful, someone who's patient, someone who's kind, someone's good, someone who's faithful, someone who has self-control? Can you say these things of yourself, and do others say these things about you? Because these are the things that are going to help you to succeed in life and to achieve your purpose. I'm going to share one last story just about myself, and something that happened about 7 years ago now. So I studied sport and recreation management at uni. And my ultimate dream was to be a professional soccer player, right? I'm sure some of you dreamt about too, right? But I didn't have the discipline, right? That's just the reality. I can maybe talk about maybe lack of opportunity or lack of support, so on and so forth. But I also didn't have the discipline as well. And I think ultimately, if I even did have the support and have the opportunities, I probably would not really have got there because I look back at my younger self and I just didn't have the discipline, right? So the next best thing was to continue working in sport and working in soccer. And eventually I landed my dream job, and I was multicultural development officer at FFSA, right? This was my dream job, loved it. I got to go out every day and work in the sport that I loved. And it was awesome. Thing is, this was a contract job, and it would be renewed every year, right? At the end of my second year working there had been some movement around in management and a few different things happening in the organization, and I was starting to feel more and more easy and uncomfortable. And eventually, I had that meeting with the CEO, and I was told that my contract wasn't being renewed, right? At this time, I was married, so I was a breadwinner in a house, but that was devastating, right? I love that job. Maybe you're a bit young, but you would have seen me out at the African Nations Cup, doing stuff, developing. I worked in the women's game and getting that women's competition running as well. I loved that job. And it was a big blow losing it. But at the end of the day, that's life, and there was nothing I could do about it. But you see, the thing is, whenever I would go out to a school and run coaching programs or wherever I was particular about the way that I presented myself and the way that I applied myself to my job, right? Making sure that I was always diligent, making sure that I was timely, making sure that I really invested in what I was doing, making sure that I really cared, making sure that I built relationships with the people that I was there with, right? And then so, in sharing with some of the schools that I was with that I would no longer be returning next year because my contract was up, very, very quickly, hey, why don't you apply and get a job here? Right? The process for me moving on from that big blow and losing that job to getting another job was relatively easy. I didn't have to look. I remember actually applying for another job, and they got back to me so quickly and said no, which usually didn't happen. But then these other places where I'd gone and I'd left an impression by the way that I conduct myself, by my character, these people came to me and they offered me positions. And I didn't know this at the time, but losing that job at FFSA would be the road that would set me up to be where I am right now. And I look back and I'm so grateful that happened, even though that hurt a lot. But I'm grateful that it happened. I started working in schools, and I figured out that ultimately that my love wasn't actually for sports. My love was for making an impact in other people's lives. That's what I really loved about it. I loved working with young people. I loved working, with those kids who maybe have never played before, and they're very uncoordinated. I love teaching them skills and seeing the smile on their face when they kick a goal and they score finally, or they now know how to dribble, or they can now do a couple of juggles. I love that. I love seeing the smile on their faces as they would learn something new, something that maybe they didn't think that they could do before. I loved doing that. And then so I started working in schools. A couple of years, then I got another offer to work at a school for more hours, and that was awesome. That was Temple Christian College, and before leaving this year, I'd been there for for the last 5 years. But same thing again. It wasn't just my talent and my skills, but it was my character that unlocked those doors, and it was my character that paved the way for me to go to those places. So wherever we are and whatever we're doing, let's put first our character, and let's let our character and the person that we are, who we really and truly are, not just on the outside and when people are watching, but who we really and truly are on the inside, even when no one is watching. Let's let those things be our focus, because it's those things that are going to unlock doors, unlock our potential, and it's those things that are going to give us longevity. How's that sound? Sound good? Awesome. All right. That is it for me. I hope you've taken away something. I'm going to finish with one more song. This song is called Get Up, and this song is all about persevering. Sometimes in life you're going to be knocked down. It might be a mistake of your own. It might be your own fault. I've had some of those moments in my life. Sometimes it's not your fault. Life just happens, but we all need to learn to get back up, yeah? All right. The chorus of this one goes like this. It goes, you might be down for a minute, but he's not done yet, and then you're going to say, get up. Yeah? Yeah, why don't we stand up? You can vibe to it too. Yeah, all right, so you might be down for a minute, but he's not done yet. Get up. No, we've been sleeping. All right. Let's go. You might be down for a minute, but it's not done yet. Nah, one more time. That was weak.